Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone is doing okay. I know it's a late post tonight, but I just want to go ahead and hop on here to post something that I've learned and want to share with you guys. If you happen to be awake and you happen to see this video, please um, go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and share it with someone that you know. If you happen to catch it later, please go ahead again share it. For those who are new to the Freedom Fighters channel, as always, I thank you for tuning in. Please check out today's video and please share and subscribe to the other content and go ahead and spread it to someone that may need to hear it. So I'm not going to be before you guys very long. Just want to pop on here real quick and just kind of put a little word of hopefully encouragement, but also some wisdom and some knowledge of things that I've learned. So I just came back from a funeral. I had to go out of town and came back. And I just wanted to kind of just touch on some stuff. And this time, I met a lot of people that I never met before. And I just got a chance to understand and glean from the love and the respect. And it's a time of celebration and honor for this person that passed. But the message is today is to understand to love your elders and glean from your elders. And more specifically, I'm talking about those who are in the Lord, right? All elders, whether in the Lord or not, there's something they can pass on to you. But for those who are in the Lord, it is a time to really glean and get and understand and learn from them. Learn things that they've experienced. Learn their lessons learned in regards to that life, especially when you're walking with the Lord. Because that wisdom, that knowledge, that portion is going to be passed to you, and you can take something and learn and pass it on to your life. And so when I was at this time and I was going around different family members' houses and my wife's family, there was someone in my wife's family that was able to pour into her, but to pour into me as well. And it was just an environment of goodness, environment of prophesying. It was an environment of growth, because I was able to glean and she was able to glean from this person. And this person is 91 years old and so much wisdom, so much knowledge to be passed. So in that too, there is a mantle being passed to those who take time to glean, especially if it's godly. There's a mantle being passed. And that's what I told I told my wife and her cousin and just a few other people that we were just in the room. And I just remember saying that to her, and there's a mantle being passed. This individual, this person, passed the mantle to my wife. And she's a woman, a godly woman. And her wisdom on how to live, to pray, to study her word, to love her husband, the things that the Bible talks about, she was able to pass it on to my wife. Right? Understanding what you can receive from a godly person goes so far. And you know, if that grandmother or that grandfather or that godly, whoever that person is, it don't have to be biological. It could be someone that is you've been close to. If there's wisdom, and I'm talking about godly wisdom for a reason, because yes, people can pass on life lessons, but you gotta be understanding too that every there's a difference between human wisdom and spiritual wisdom, and the things that you need to last past this life. Even when it comes to assignments, even when it comes to generational assignments, that stuff can be passed down to you. And I told an individual there, one of my wife's cousins, and I told her, I said, she has to be obedient to stand and be in position, posture herself to receive from this person. Okay? And when I said that, it's just a word that I want to put out here, right? And that hopefully someone on here can understand the importance of gleaning off the elders. Sitting down with your grandmother, your great grandmother, or whoever's that's elder in your families, or whoever that you're in your church, whoever that you know that has been poured into your life on a godly level, on a godly perspective. That is who you need to glean from, because there's a mantle being passed. This is a season for mantles being passed to people that are willing to take it from their elders. Because you gotta understand that they're not gonna always be here. They're not gonna always be here. Their days, and much as and let's just be honest, their days are limited because of just the time they're in. And much as we want people to live and live forever and live long lives, and there's some that has, we just gotta be realistic that this is a season of mantle passing because people, those elders, are going to leave. Sometimes we got to think about our elders are some of the most neglected because we want to live our lives. We have our own wisdom. We don't want to listen. But if we take time to glean, we take time to listen, we take time to take heed of the words of wisdom, and we take time to understand who they are and understand where their mission has been, especially if it's a godly relationship, then you're going to receive a mantle. Okay? And when I was thinking about the word mantle, the definition of a mantle is many definitions, but one of the definitions I want to capture is it is an important role or responsibility that passes from one person to another. It's like a transfer. An important role or responsibility that passes from one person to another. Okay, that person has passed something to them, a responsibility. And when we talk about it from a biblical standpoint, we're talking about a spiritual transfer. We're talking about a spiritual impartation. And what I saw, and not just even this particular time, but I saw other times where my wife received a spiritual transfer, or received a double portion, or received some type of connection of spiritual transfer, impartation into her to continue to do the work that person's done. What we call a mother, but what mother has done for her is passed into her. Now she can do for others. It's a generational spiritual impartation. Now that my wife received that from his mother, now she can go and do the same things that mothers taught her to do. And as simple as just occur, it's really, it's nothing complex about it. It's just sitting beneath the elders' feet, just talking to them, asking questions, listening to their wisdom, especially again, and I say this again, especially if they're someone that walks with the Lord, because that relationship with the Lord, there's nuggets, there's wisdom that you can receive, that you can take in part. And as a man too, if you have a godly man or a pastor or someone who's willing to share, who's willing to talk, who's willing to impart wisdoms and nuggets of walking with the Lord, that's another example. I think about Elijah and Elisha, 2 Kings chapter 2. All right, it talks about the transfer of a portion of their spirit, a double portion. 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 9 says, after they have crossed over, Elijah said to Elisha, what can I do for you before I'm taken away? Elijah was going to go. God was taking him away from him. Elisha was left to take what Elijah was going to finish. He was the next person to receive, to lead the Israelites. So at that point, Elijah said, what can I do for you? And he said, leave me a double share or a double portion of your spirit. Okay? Leave a share or a double portion of your spirit to be given to Elisha so he can continue to lead the Israelites. That's an example of impartation. Okay? So in this season, if you have someone that, especially if they're walking with the Lord, and I know I keep saying that, because we know there's a difference between someone who's eldered, who may pass information that may be for the world sense, which is, it can be beneficial in regards to the world, or regards to maybe succeeding in the world system. But when we're talking about godly wisdom, we're talking about succeeding in the spiritual, in the nature of walking with Jesus, in the nature of your walk, and understanding the assignment, understanding how to complete your assignment, understanding, maybe helping you understand who you are and to be in position for your assignment. And then you take that with you, you pass it down to someone else. I think the best way to honor an elder is to glean with them now while they're living. To take time to take from them what they want to give you. Ask questions. Be interested. Come see them. Come talk to them. Come spend time with them. It don't have to be just in your family. It don't have to be somebody that you know. It can be somebody in the neighborhood. It can be a neighbor. It can be someone in your church. It can be someone in that you may see on the street, or you may just come in contact with. It don't have to be your grandmother or your great-grandmother, your uncle, or your aunt, or whoever it may be. It can be anybody. There was a lady in my church. This is a week prior, before the passing of the funeral. And she stood up in front of my church, and she had to be in her 70s or 80s. I think in her 80s. I'm not sure. And she spoke words of wisdom and encouragement to the congregation. And as I went up to the front and I was doing what I was supposed to do in the church, she said something to me that was confirmed by another elderly woman, which is mother. Mother and this other elderly godly woman in the church spoke the same word. But if I never sat down and talked to neither one of them, how would I get confirmed? And that's just words of wisdom. God's using them, the anointing that's on their lives. But if you sit down with your elders and you try to learn from them, you'll be surprised what you can get out of it. And that's the best way to honor elders. And I'm not saying don't honor those who are not in the Lord. I'm not saying that, because, again, an elder can offer you some type of wisdom. Sit down with those elders. Talk to them. Okay? Even if you want to lead them, if it's led to lead them to Christ. If they have wisdom to offer you that can bring you in, that's to help you succeed, that helps you make it through the world or make it through life, I'm not saying not to take it from that. But for the godly ones that are walking with the Lord, that have been walking with the Lord, there's so much fruit. So much fruit that you can gain and you can learn as a younger person. Because that is what I've learned with funerals. That is what I learned from this funeral that I came from, is to glean before those that I can glean before. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I want you to share with you that take the time to learn and glean now. This is the season to take advantage, in a sense, to sit down with your people and talk to them. Because they're not going to be here forever. And you can say that maybe I don't need that. I don't need to hear what they have to say. It's only works for them. It only works for the time they're living in. You can say that, and you probably can think that I don't need to speak to my elders or elders around me. But to sit with them, you'll gain. It's really such a good thing. I was refreshed. I was really refreshed to hear and to pray with and to talk to an elder. And it wasn't just even mother. It wasn't just her. It was also other elders I sat with. I sat with my own biological grandparents, and I talked with them as well. And it was a good time. There's nothing wrong with it. I know today's culture and society that we just blow past our elders, or we just think they don't mean anything, or we're so proudful in living our own lives. But I've learned that I could still learn. And the confirmations and the perspectives, and I've seen others glean from her. And it just blessed my life to see others regaining, see others learning, seeing others also posture themselves. So take time, while it's still time, to pay your elders a visit. Stop by. Do something with them. Just even if you don't do nothing with them, just sit with them and talk with them. And and see what they have to say. Ask questions. That's what we should be doing. So that's all I wanted to say. Mantles being passed. Men and women. responsibilities and assignments, spiritual impartations and gifts. These things can be passed to you. And a most important thing with that too, and I'm going to end this, is make sure that you're seeking the Lord with who you let impart into you. Make sure that you're in position. Make sure you're discerning. Make sure that you're praying, talking with the Lord about about timing and being in position. It's interesting about this time that, yes, we lost a family member, but we were in position to receive something greater. We were able to leave with peace in our hearts. And when we lose people that we love, it's still a process. Yes, it's still a process. But if we take time and spend time with them and we appreciate them, we value them and honor them now, when they do leave, especially for the godly, we know that we're going to see them again. We know that if I accepted my life to the Lord, if I gave my life to the Lord Jesus, that I will see my grandparent or elder, whoever it is, in heaven. So all I'm saying is, take time to appreciate the people around you. Appreciate your loved ones. Appreciate for those you're close to. Appreciate the neighbors, the people in your church. Go by and cut someone's grass. Go by and assist the elder. When my grandmother's alive, my dad's side, my grandmother was alive. She was an elder, but she had some disabilities. And although I'm still in the military, I was overseas then. And I had uncles and aunts that looked out for her, and they kept her, and they made sure she was good. But when I came to visit, and I came to spend time, it was a great time. I sat sat on the floor, and she would talk to me and tell me all types of stories. We'd pray, we'd talk about Jesus. And it was such a good time. And I continued to come by, and, took her to the store, drove, made sure she was good, made sure she take her medicine. It was a great time. And I cherish those moments even to this day, that I've taken time to sit with my elders. Because when life goes on and we're living our own lives, we can sometimes forget. We can sometimes forget about our elders, because we're living our lives. So all I'm saying is, take time. Take time while you can. Glean from your elders. So that's all I got. Please be blessed, and I'll see y'all in the next video.